Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Ayana, and today I am finally putting out this highly requested video. A lot of people have been actually like instant messaging me, emailing me, all kinds of things, questions in the comments, and I'm loving it, guys. Thank you so much. I'm absolutely loving all of the advice and the questions, and today I'm going to do my absolute best to finally give you guys my chemo info, okay? Finally. Now, what you're going to see in the thumbnail, I am holding a picture of the bag that I get my chemo in, and that is just like a safety precaution bag telling you what's in the bag. I'm sorry, but my makeup is looking pretty good today. Anyways, where you're gonna see it's actually like a safety bag that the chemo comes in, but I've been trying to find that and I haven't been able to, so I'm sorry that I don't have the bag, but I do have what matters more, and that is the actual medication that I will be showing in this video. Okay, so to start off, as you guys who know me know, I always have my little handy dandy notebook because my chemo brain is super bad. So bear with me, new people, with that. If I look down a lot, I apologize. So getting started on the kind of chemo that I am on. So with people who usually suffer from forms of sarcoma, a lot of our cancers are super stubborn and don't like to respond to the traditional forms of chemo that we're all so used to seeing, which is usually the intravenous chemo. Now, when you see the intravenous chemo, I know when you hear and you see about the side effects, you see a bald person, right? When you see bald and you think cancer, you think chemo, right? Okay. Getting back to that, that's a big thing too. But that's what a lot of people think. A lot of people think, oh, the kind of chemo where that makes you bald and you're sitting there for hours in the chair getting this treatment in your body, right? But I'm here to tell you guys that there are actually other forms of chemo. I want to say actually two, because these are the only two that I have done research on and that I've actually been able to find research. The kind of chemo that I'm taking is actually orally taken. And when I say orally taken, I mean, as you've seen, I guess now I would say that it's an actual chemo, but at the time, I was told that I wasn't going to be actually receiving chemo treatment because there technically is no kind of chemo treatment for my form of sarcoma, alveolar soft part sarcoma. And because of that, I was kind of out of luck. Besides options with radiation and surgery, those were pretty much my only two options, and that's a really scary realization. So that's when I made sure that I was like hardcore on like a medical marijuana diet, putting it in pretty much everything, getting it in my body any way that I possibly could. Because of that, they decided to add me into a trial, and with this trial I had a 50-50 chance of receiving a study trial of chemotherapy. And at the time, this chemotherapy was called pazopanib, and pazopanib is the trial name for this chemo. It kind of when I got it, it kind of looked like just a plain like placebo, plain pill, like a sugar pill maybe, but it was actually chemotherapy, plain pill, no printing on it, absolutely at all. And I'm gonna include this in another video, but that chemo, the pazopanib, causes such and is infamous for such bad wound healing. Luckily I got picked for the study, but as I was taking it, as months and months went by, after I had my surgery wound was not healing because of it being so infamously known for bad wound healing. And at this time, I had to see the doctors every single week to check up on my progress, and I was filling out a log for this study pretty much every day that I could, taking the chemo at 10 o'clock every single day for this study. Every single day, I mean 24/7. This was way before I had breaks. This is just a study. Remember that. This is just a study. So, during that time, I was taking it, and it caused my wound to reopen from surgery. It caused my wound to open during surgery, and because that was a big hit. And because of this, you know, and I was keeping logs of this, the study is, they're seeing that it's causing extremely bad wound healing. So sadly, the study decided to drop me because it was causing such bad wound healing to the point where they pretty much said that they didn't want any parts of my treatment once they saw that what it was doing. Okay, I was interrupted for a minute. I apologize, but what my what my chemo pills look like. This is what the chemo pill looks like. Can't really make out. Oh my goodness, my awful nails. You can't really see. I'm sorry with my lighting. Like, I really do apologize, but you really can't see. But it is a small light blue oval pill with GSJT printed on it. That's what my chemo pill looks like, okay? So that's what it looks like. And the dose that I'm receiving is 800 milligrams, which is 4 pills. Each pill has 200 milligrams. Coda, what are you doing? What you doing, boy? Okay, so, but that was, as you guys who have, are about to see in my, video prior to this, is that my dose is actually lowered now, but this was my original dose. You can go and watch. I'm gonna actually post a link for that video in here so you guys can see, learn more about my dosing. So when I take my chemo every day. You don't necessarily have to take it at a certain time, but it is a good habit to have. I used to take my chemo 24/7, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, blah, blah, blah. I used to do that. But because I've had such bad reactions and so many bouts of toxic, going through toxic shock, since I've had that, and since it's been dealt with with bad wound healing, I've had it lowered to, okay, I'm not taking it 24/7, 365, but I'm going to take it 7 days a week, 7 days a week on and 7 days a week off. So I do chemo every other week. That's how it lasts. And usually on the weeks that I take that chemo, I'll go into more detail about that, but this is mostly just about this medication right now. So that's the schedule that I'm on when it comes to the chemo. Normal side effects that you're going to have with this kind of chemotherapy is diarrhea, nausea and or vomiting, loss of appetite, and change in hair color. Now that's a really touchy video that I haven't been quite ready to do yet when it comes to change in hair color, because as stated in previous videos, I am not bald because of my chemotherapy. That is one thing that my chemotherapy is, that's just one thing that makes my chemotherapy completely different besides it being in a different form, okay? And not only that, but it changes your skin color too. I've probably gone up about 3 shades. Seen somebody or has been on chemo will tell you that the basis of chemo is you know, the vomiting, feeling tired, um, sometimes tumor pain. When I did have it, I experienced that. Those are kind of normal basic symptoms, as it said, normal side effects that most chemo patients can understand. Serious side effects of the Votrient are heart attack and or stroke, blood clots, bleeding problems, lung problems, serious infections, protein in your pee, and high blood pressure. Now, I have highlighted serious infections, high blood pressure, and protein in your pee. I have tested positive once for protein in my urine, and I honestly still don't know too much about that. They did give me stuff, but I did have to keep like a analysis of my pee like 24 hours before I went to my appointment, and it was cleared out. I just had to drink tons of water. High blood pressure is a must. They definitely do keep you monitored. Like every 3 months when you do your MRI and your scans with EKGs, just to keep an eye out on everything, because I have noticed that my blood pressure has been increasingly high. That's why they tell a lot of cancer patients to try and just like chill on the salt. Trust me, I know how hard that is because I'm a salt fanatic, always have been. Thank you to those college days with the ramen, right? So that's always been a hard thing for me, but um you have to do it if you want to keep an eye out on your blood pressure, because I have had a heart attack scare. Trust me, I have had a heart attack scare, and you don't want that. So that is pretty much the basis of like serious side effects, normal side effects, what to expect from Votrient, my dosing, when I take it, how I take it, what it looks like. That's pretty much the basic of that kind of medication. Okay, I know it's kind of like a superstition to doctors or something. Not a superstition, but it's kind of like a myth. You know, when you mention chemo brain to doctors, it kind of like, at least my doctors are kind of like, you know, when it comes to talking about chemo brain, but it is definitely there for me. That is still a side effect, as I'm sure anybody else out there knows. With chemo, destroys your brain. I swear my brain is fried right now, okay? That was a highly requested video that I feel like I have been procrastinating on for the longest time, and I apologize for that. But I am finally doing it, and I'm glad that I did. And thank you guys so much again for the comments and questions, and just the advice, just the interaction. That's what I love to see. So thank you guys so much for the support. I'm really enjoying sharing even the hardest parts of my journey and my story with you guys, because of the amount of support. Not the amount, because of the support that I am getting, because somebody wise has always told me that it's not the amount, it is just about what you get out of it. Not the amount of support, but the support that you get. And I am going with the flow right now. So thank you guys again. If anybody else that's watching this, subscribe. Please, I'm telling you, I'm trying my best to get out of my shell. So please bear with me. Like this if you want. That doesn't really matter to me. But I just appreciate you guys watching this. And thank you guys again. Bye.